Hey, this is Emerald, and welcome to Shining Force 2. Uh, this is a this is one of my favorite games ever made. Is it's a tactical role playing game for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. I'm just going to talk over this opening and talk about my history with the game a bit, and also the history of like the guys who made it. Um, So I first heard about Shining Force when my brother would rent it with his best friend, and play it at his house, the best friend's house, and then and my brother would tell me about it, and I thought it sounded so cool. Like it's kind of I didn't really know what an RPG was at the time, but this RPG that was kind of a board game, and it was just like such a cool concept. I really was curious to see how it played because I was so used to just like I think the only RPG I ever played before this was Dragon Warrior, and that was a lot. It's a lot different than this game, and a lot more. This game was actually pretty archaic, but it's a lot more archaic, and it's a little hard for like a really young kid to understand. So, but eventually, they rented it and brought it over to our house, and I got to see Shining Force, and I thought it was so cool. My brother told me stories about like the chess battle and stuff, and eventually we got a PC and we were able to emulate the game. And that's when I got to play it. And yeah, I loved it ever since. Like it was a big part of my childhood playing this game. It's because of this game that I love Centaurs. Like one of the coolest parts about this game is that there's mounted cavalry units like in Fire Emblem, but they're not really mounted units because they're just Centaur knights. Like it's just so cool. And there's instead of having flying Pegasus Knights, they have Birdmen, and they have Wolfmen and stuff like that. I think it's so cool that they have these like demi-human characters, and there's elves and hobbits, which I always thought were dwarves as a kid because they're like the warrior characters, but apparently they're hobbits according to like every information I can find online. So this game was made by Sonic Software Planning, which later came to be known today as Camelot Software Planning, which you might know from the Mario Tennis series and Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance. And if you've played Golden Sun, you're gonna like notice similarities in this game to Golden Sun in like how the battles look. And just like these long-winded cinematics with like way more dialogue and animations that are necessary to get their point across. This is 7 minutes long, and not much gets done by the end of the cinematic. So I thought I'd take a time to just talk about stuff. So they were an in-house developer for Sega, and they made the Shining series, which involves this game, Shining Force 2 and Shining Force 1, and all the other Shining Force games, as well as Shining in the Darkness, which was the first Shining game. It was a first-person dungeon crawler, which I've tried to play a few times. It's on like every Sega Genesis Classics release, and but I'm not really very good at first-person dungeon crawlers, but because like I get lost very easily, so I never really got into it. And they also made Shining Soul, which I actually never heard about until recently, which was I guess was a dungeon a dungeon crawler action game with roguelike elements. I definitely want to check that out. I've never really played that before. Oh, excuse me. I hope you're not hearing that. So yeah, this game like made me fall in love with tactical RPGs, and I've been buying the Fire Emblem series today, like in the present day because of this game. And Fire Emblem is like a really good series. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not Shining Force, so it doesn't really quite scratch that itch. Like, you'll see there's differences. Like, one thing I really like about this game is that you don't just go like pick a battle on a map and then do it. You have to walk around towns, and there's an overworld and stuff, and you can talk to NPCs, and it's more like a traditional RPG with just the turn-based strategy battles that aren't random. I don't know why I was about to say random. Yeah. Camelot Software Planning having made they also made another game that I got to play when I was like just like maybe like during maybe like just before middle school. I think like late elementary school. My it was after I played Shining Force 2. My babysitter would bring over his PlayStation, and he would show us these PlayStation games, and because we didn't have one or an N64, I think I mentioned in my Sonic Let's Plays that our family skipped that generation of consoles. So I got to see these cool PlayStation games, and one of the games he brought was Beyond the Beyond, and that's another Camelot Software Planning game, and it's a lot like Shining Force in like it's a more traditional RPG with like overworld random encounters and turn-based battles, like not strategy. And I noticed, I mean, like right away, I was like, this is like Shining Force, but I didn't actually know it was by the same people who made Shining Force. So that was kind of cool when I found out later that I was right as a kid. And that game's it was like one of the first. It was after Camelot left Sega, because obviously they're not with Sega anymore. They're with Nintendo now. So what happened apparently was they became like a third-party developer, but still agreed to make Shining games for Sega and like do other things for them. And they agreed not to make any Shining-like games on other consoles, so they couldn't make another tactical RPG, I presume, or like a first-person dungeon crawler. And then Beyond the Beyond was not any of those, so they made that published by Sony Entertainment. It was like one of the first ever PlayStation JRPGs, if not the first. And yeah, it hasn't aged well, but I love it just from being a fan of Camelot. And then the Golden Sun series on the GBA was super popular because it was like the breakout GBA hit. And I love that series too. But one other accomplishment that Camelot Software Planning had, beyond the great Shining games and the great Golden Sun games, is they created Waluigi. And Waluigi is the best Mario character. This is still going on. Holy shit. So yeah. To summarize what just happened, there was a storm, a thief stole some jewels, and the king got hit by some kind of demon-looking thing. That was it. And that was 7.5 minutes just to explain that. Jesus. Oh well, still love the game. Shining Force series has always had these interesting, like, might be a Shining staple. It's not just Shining Force, with these like loading screens of in the first game it's like a little girl with a book, and in this game it's this witch in the woods. So I already made a file that we can start the game off with, and I did that for a very specific reason, as we'll see. So this is actually one of... I've actually tried recording this episode a few times, but I just kept like... I mean, even then I was like stumbling with my words, but it got like really bad. So I just kind of have restarted a few times. And I noticed on one of my playthroughs that this is a very Pokemon-esque opening. Like you wake up in your room, it's above stairs. You know, just ready to start your adventure. You walk downstairs. The first thing that happens is your mom talks to you about how you have to go see your professor. And there's like, she doesn't have a room apparently, just like in Pokemon. So as you see there, she mentions two characters, Sir Astral and Adrian. So Sir Astral is like your professor guy, which is why I said she like makes you go see the professor. But Adrian is actually named Sarah, but I mentioned earlier that I already made this file. It's because I went and named 13 of the characters after Audio Entropy and Audio Entropy adjacent people. So Adrian is Zach's wife from Teenagers of Attitude. She's actually appeared on an episode, a Valentine's Day bonus episode. But when I asked the Audio Entropy crew to like pick characters that he wanted to be named after, and Zach offered that his wife would have matched Sarah. So, Emily investigated the wash basin. Soapy water, gulp gulp, yuck, that tastes disgusting. I just love that interaction because she walks up to the soapy water, she knows it's soapy water, and she still decides to take a drink and then is like, oh my god, it's gross. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? So the main character of this game is traditionally a boy named Bowie, but I named her Emily. Because, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna play as me. I'm gonna be naming everyone after other people. And who cares what the... I mean, you'll see some people like Zach. The character Zach picked to be is not like a guy character. It doesn't matter. So yeah, this is Grand Seal, the starting town, and we got the castle. I can't enter. My mom told me to go to the school anyways. Such a... Wow. What a dick. I was gonna be like, just apropos of nothing, says Sir Astral's cool, but just so you can burn me. Here we have my classmates. Chester, who I didn't name Chester. We'll see what his name is later. So Mike there is replacing Jaha, the Hobbit warrior. I'm pretty good, you know, just sitting down to play some Shining Force 2. I'm always happy to do that. You look strange today, huh? I didn't read this the last few times I've played this part. Oh wow. This is a good class. Uh-huh. So is this like the proverb class? Or it was just like promotion, like motivational things he puts on the wall? I assumed it was a lesson. Oh yeah, it must be. No, it's not a... Yeah, okay. Mumbling to yourself. Sega Guide sounds good. Don't you like Sega products, kids? Little dinosaurs. That's a cute book. Yeah. I feel personally attacked by this bookshelf. It's judging me. Legend of Max. So Max is like the main character of the first game. So that's kind of a little nod to that. Just fucking ripping on Sir Astral over here. Guide to the castle. Study of yogurt. I like yogurt, so, you know, it's a worthy study. Science 101. So I remember from playing this game a million times that this is where I find a medical herb, which are like the primary healing items in the game. And I just said I've been playing this game a million times. I've never actually beaten this game, and I'm going to try to make it this the time that I beat it by playing this series. And there's a one thing that probably didn't help in my quest through the game, and we'll get to that in the first battle, but yeah, it's time to start school, you old man. I thought it was alright. I like thunderstorms. No, I didn't feel anything evil. Yeah, that's a weird thing to ask. So I gotta take my place by Chester here. Or, I don't want to say his name yet, but not Chester. Japanese name was Huey. I don't know why they changed that to Chester. Maybe they thought Huey sounded lame. But I made a centaur character in D&D once, and I named him Huey after this guy. Because he's one of my favorite Shining Force 2 characters. Like, for one thing, he's a centaur. But he's the first centaur you get, and you've been with him the longest. I always promote him to a Pegasus Knight, because in this game you can promote the characters just like in Fire Emblem, but some classes you can only get by getting certain items, and you have to get you have to have Pegasus Wing to promote him to a Pegasus Knight, which is like a winged centaur, obviously. And when you get the Pegasus wing, it's usually like well after you've already promoted everybody. So Chester, the one thing is you have to make him like kind of weaker for a while. But I like him so much, and I like him as a Pegasus so much that I don't really mind. And maybe I won't be promoted by then this time. Oh no. I sure did. Oh, okay, so the last few times I've watched this scene, I said, like, how do you know how the king's acting? But he meant the soldier. The soldier was acting strange, of course. Hey, Joel! Let's go to the castle! Look, it's Joel from Teenagers of Attitude! We can't, Adrian. We're just kids. They won't let us in. I'm just reading that in my head in Joel's voice. I kind of ruined it by reading it out loud there, but just some when the Teachers of Attitude, the audio entropy crew talks, try to imagine their lines in their voices. I think it would actually match up pretty well in a lot of them. Of course, I want to meet a princess. Yeah. Now Joel wants to go. That little ditty there and the whole, like, Adrian the priest and Joel the knight have joined the force thing happens every single time you get a party member, and it's so fucking rewarding. I just love that jingle. Oh, to the castle. I love Adrian here doing a deception check to get in. She's pretty clever. It's actually a shame because like this game doesn't characterize the force members that much. Like you usually get like an intro to them, and then they just never really talk after that. It's a shame because like they seem like they're pretty cool. But I get it because there's like over 30 characters in this game, so. And again, I know here to get this stuff because again, I've played it a bunch. You can talk to all these NPCs in the castle here, but I'm going to like just avoid that because I want to get to this first fight and show you guys off, show off the battle system to you guys. And then I just go talk to an NPC after saying that. Yeah, this guy's got an interesting to talk to. He's not important of a story. I'm a messenger from Gallum. I came here to see the king. But he's still sleeping. Did I arrive too early? That message is going to be important. I actually just remembered. I'll just say it. There's a guard near that area that I went in to get items who was like, oh, the door's rusted shut because we keep all our weapons and armor in there, but we haven't had to use it. He doesn't say it. He says, like, that's where we keep all our weapons and armor, but the door's rusted shut from misuse or not using it or something. And that's kind of like this. If you talk to a lot of NPCs, they talk about how like it's been really peaceful for a long time. And Gallum, the neighboring kingdom, and Grand Seal have always been like perfectly at peace and everything. And I hope that never changes. I hope something really bad doesn't happen, and then suddenly the kingdoms are at war. Yeah, I know how that is. That's a reference to something that happened in my life recently, I guess, where my mom was in the hospital with transient amnesia, but there was nothing wrong with her physically. It's just a thing that can happen. And she's better now, but like, that made me think of that there, where it's like, there's something wrong with his body, but something's clearly wrong with him. That was like my mom. Oh, fucking goody two-shoes Joel over here. And Ian's like, well, you know, just we didn't like break out. Sure are. I love this. Astral glares at Emily. You fucked up, Emily. Now he's gonna bullshit this this reason that the kids are here. He's gonna get in trouble in front of the minister. Grandpa Astral's mad. Oh, yeah, there's the character portrait for Emily. You get to see it when you name the character. You guys missed that because I wanted to keep it secret who all the characters are named as. I'm going up here because there's a fun thing where I can just like go into the princess's bedroom and a small piece of silk. Emily is flustered. Emily's just, I'm just fucking barging into like this girl's wardrobe and checking out her undergarments. Apparently, I'm terrible. I shouldn't do that. Oh shit. I'm gonna get indoctrinated. Sure, I'm ready to get indoctrinated. Follow this monarchy. Yay, stairs. I kind of expected to be more stairs. I was gonna make a joke about how it's a fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 ladder. Okay, so there's a secret here. That I remember from playing as a kid. See, no, you think you just go into there, right? But no, behind here. So. Okay. There used to be controls again. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find this thing that's like behind. Oh, found it. Emily found Mithril. Emily passed the Mithril to Joel. The Mithril is a very important item in this game. And they're hidden throughout the whole game in these like completely obscure locations. But if later on in the game, if you've got enough Mithril, you can make some really cool weapons for all your characters. Sure thing, buddy. They haven't done any research into it before. They built a kingdom around it, but they don't know what's going on. It's from one of them Satanists. Always summoning them demons. 11 characters react to something before it happens. Oh no, it's a gizmo! Such a weird name for a ghost enemy. As a kid, I always thought like, what, like the gremlin? So I was only gonna make this episode like 20 minutes long, but like, it's already been 20 minutes and nothing's happened. So I guess I'll go for a little bit longer. So yeah, it's standard tactical RPG. You have a grid, you can move. You can actually see go into people to see their stats, and she has a move of 5. Oh wait, is it 5? Or was that something else I was reading? Yeah, 5. So that means she can move 5 squares in any direction, which is represented in this, like... It's kind of like... It's one reason I kind of like 4th edition D&D, because it reminds me of Shining Force. Everyone hates on that edition a lot, but As someone who's a fan of tactical RPGs, it was kind of cool. I always wanted to do a Shining Force campaign in the 4th edition set, rule set. So, I mentioned earlier that the reason I haven't beaten this game is probably because of something to do with the battles. And what it is that when I played this game as a kid, I would grind and grind and grind. Like in Fire Emblem, you kind of just have one chance to do a battle and that's it. In the newer ones, they've given you a chance to like, oh geez, sorry, I'm recording this really late at night. You can use like stuff like reeking boxes to like get encounters to happen, so you can keep grinding and grinding and grinding. But it's not typical of the Fire Emblem series, and this one, like, it's kind of like Fire Emblem in that you can do a fight once and that's it, and then there's no random encounters. But if you run away from a fight, you can always like restart it, and by just continuing to like kill the whole army except for one guy, and then egressing, I get to see the battle view. I love this so much. This is so mind-blowing as a kid. These like really cool, big, detailed, animated sprites. Yeah, so Sarah being a priest. I also love these icon things. Like, I think they kept that in Golden Sun too, where like they just have these little animated like icons to show all the different things you can do. Like, there's a mage doing a spell. It's like, I love it. She's a healer and she's kind of weak, so I don't really want to like go this far up with her. So I'm gonna kind of keep her. Actually, did Chester take damage? I'm gonna heal him then, because every time you heal, you get 10 experience points, and like Fire Emblem, every level is 100 experience. So that's kind of how you level up your healers, is to try to use them to heal as much as you can. Now I'm going to do my first attack in the game. So as you know, it's unlike Fire Emblem. When you attack an enemy, they typically don't attack back. And you typically only get one attack off. There's exceptions to that, where people will counterattack, or you'll get to do 2 attacks. But that's like a random thing that happens rather than like the norm. Another thing you'll notice is that like in Fire Emblem, you get to move every hero and let them do, you know, their thing, and then it's the enemy's turn and they move, all the enemies move. But in this, it's more like, again, a little bit more like D&D, where it seems like everyone has a hidden initiative score, and the turn order depends on that. So I could like run forward and attack this gizmo, but then I'd be swarmed, and if your hero dies, then the whole team loses. I mentioned earlier, but yeah, see, this spell right here lets you escape the battle, and I could like just keep coming in to this battle and killing all the gizmos until... Seriously, apologize for all this yawning. Until I keep leveling up. You can actually get up to level like 10, I think. Maybe 6. I think level 6 is actually the max you can get to in this fight. And then in the next fight, you can go up like 3 more levels, level 9. So you can like level up the party pretty quickly in this. I don't want to cast a spell, actually. I just was being lame. I'm going to advance a little bit with Chester and Joel and try to get the gizmos to attack him. And then I'll surround them. Poor Joel. I can end up beating this fight. Oh no, Emily! Okay. So I'm gonna heal Emily, just because if she dies, the whole party dies. I'm not really attacking with Adrian, but she can actually do like a decent amount of damage at the beginning of the game, and even more so later on. I mentioned earlier that you can like do different class changes if you use like, separate items, and she can become a master monk. which is like a kick-ass like a monk from D&D, but they still get to keep their healing spells. They become this like badass healing fighter. I love it. I'm gonna try to play this like, and I mentioned I grinded. I'm gonna try not to grind in this playthrough, and just do every level once. So I'm gonna have to like really try and like tactically give experience to my crew, so that they aren't just like underleveled. And if I end up like hitting a wall, I will like go do some grinding off camera to like move the series along. I just don't want this whole series to be, excuse me grinding all the time. And maybe if I do a grinding session, it'll be like a stream or something. I don't like I'm not healing Joel at all, but... And now she's out of magic points. I can't heal anyone anymore. So after a fight, everyone gets their magic and HP back. By the way. I think it's typical of these tactical games. I've got to apologize, it's yawning. Joel's getting a little tight there, but we have healing potion. We have like medical herbs, so even if Adrian's out of her healing spells, we can still get this. That's another thing about the initiative thing is that like it kind of adds a lot of tension because you're like, oh, please let it be my turn next. Please let it be my turn next. And then it goes to an enemy and you're like, oh fuck, no, don't kill that person. Like it adds that level of tension that you don't get as much in Fire Emblem. It still happens in Fire Emblem, but because they can do it like the enemy can move when you don't expect them to. I'm sure you could maybe memorize what the turn order is, but it kind of gives it that like hectic thing. I have 7 HP. I should be able to withstand another attack from the Gizmo before I need healing. Holy shit! Adrian just knocked that guy flat. No. I'm hoping that one of my force members gets to level 2 before this fight's over. I'm gonna weaken this guy so that Emily can do the kill. Which might sound a bit selfish, but I mean, getting your leader up strong is good to do, because if that could have been dangerous. Oh fuck, we might lose Joel in the first fight. Oh my god! 1 HP! Okay. I've always considered doing like a permadeath run of Shining Forest, but that would be so stressful. Wow, okay, so my plan of giving Emily that kill didn't really work out. So I have no more healing spells, but I'm gonna use medical herb on Joel. Yay, Joel! You didn't die. I'm really happy. You have to waste 100 gold. Well, not waste, but use 100 gold resing your butt. Get him. Oh shit, second attack! Good job, Joel! I'm going to see what XP levels are at. 76, 74, 78. So everyone's really close to leveling up. What's this guy's HP? 3 out of 5. So she could potentially kill this thing. I kind of want to give Emily that XP. The healers don't get a lot of chances to get XP, so... Fuck off! Slippery ass gizmos. Yeah, every character has a unique dodging animation, a unique attack animation. It's so cool. A unique defense animation. Well, I think the defense animation is like the middle of their attack animation. I didn't realize Emily was so hurt. Come on, Gizmo, dive this time. Yes! Yay, level 2! A lot of things increased by 1. Nice. Oh, let's see if Joel can get this experience. Yay! We won our first Shining Force fight, guys! Well, join me on the next episode where we see what happens in the aftermath.